Oh, hello. Today we're talking about, I'm taking Confucius's 5 relationships and twisting it up a little bit. So, 5 virtuous relationships, if you want to call them wholesome relationships. Um, anyway, that's what we're working on this week. I've in my lessons I've asked they go ahead and pause and think about 5 relationships that you have and what and how you contribute to them. So the 5 relationships, pause if you want, that I just kind of encryptedly wrote on my board: parent child, sibling sibling, friend friend, partner partner, spouse spouse. And then Confucius talks about the relationship between ruler and subject. I think that sounds a little presumptuous. So, but I just want to focus on the teacher student relationship since that's what this is all about, yes? Um, so the 5 virtues, if you will, are, I'm not going to say because I'll butcher them. This first one is love. It's essentially love of humanity. And since my focus is teacher student, I like the word reverence. To me, reverence is like this mutual respect. Um, Righteousness is a code to live by. Protocol is like the actions, for example, um, dressing for a wedding or a funeral. You want to uh, show up in regards to the person that you're showing up for. Yes, to have reverence for them. Wisdom is learning from mistakes, hopefully. I'm a slow learner. And then the last one, which, according to some resources, is trustworthiness and sincerity is the most important because, which I find really interesting because if you can't trust the environment you're in, if you can't trust the people who are around you, what do you have, right? So anyway, the one thing that I want to point out are the 5 wholesome or virtuous relationships, if you will. They all look a little bit different with the 5 relationships that we all have, I think, in our lives. At some point, parent child, the love, the sense of morality that you have with your parents or your children. You might act a little bit differently around your friends, for example. Sibling sibling, there's a sense of love and sincerity, I think, with a sibling, but it's different than a romantic partnership that you might have with somebody, right? So I think it's important to separate these because when they get blurred, then that's when we see society kind of start to crumble, I guess, according to Confucius. Does this make sense? I don't have an actual class to talk to, but we're working on it. So the two that I want to focus on are teacher student and sincerity. And I know I'm off to a rough start, and I'm kind of building the plane as I'm flying it, so to speak. But one thing that is true for me, and that is my sincerity to you, the student. I'm I'm trying to be a better person, really, and actually using my own philosophies, or at least ones that I've stolen, to make sense of myself. And one thing I think for me that I find really special with the teacher-student relationship as it ties into Confucius's virtues is I feel like it's unique because there's not this pressure, to I have a lot of work to do in these other areas. I'm kind of surprised I have any friends left at all, to be honest with you. Thank you, friends. Um, but I find my dedication and my loyalty still lies within you, the student, because I've had such special relationships with students in the past. I'm talking to kind of an imaginary classroom, but in my head, I'm also talking to students that I've had over the last 29 years that I have absolute reverence for. And again, that's kind of why I'm here, and that's even though clumsily kind of flogging along with this, I am sincere in my approach, because you're worth it. And I miss you. So, I am going to answer an email that I received. I'll pull it up here. An email that I received, and the question was, Miss Newsom, I remember you from such and such day. And I was wondering, I did happen to find one of your videos, and I noticed a picture in the background, a pen, something that you said, a scarf. And I was just wondering, did you do that deliberately? And the answer to that is, I didn't do it deliberately for one video. I did it deliberately for every single video so far. Everyone. Yes, there are Easter eggs, I think you might want to call them, yes. All of them, and I will continue to do so. Oh, I've got so many lesson plans set up, again, because of my sincere dedication to you, the student. And I feel like it's going to take me a little while to build up that trust. So we're just taking little baby steps along the way. See you next week.